Interview tips for freshers. If you're a student who's looking to give an interview for an internship, or if you're someone who's recently graduated and now is looking to give a software engineering interview, so software engineering interviews are typically divided into two parts. You have your behavioral interview section, and then you have your technical interview part. So here in the behavioral part, the interviewer is just trying to get information on how you think and what type of experiences you have had before. Now in the behavior interview part, what you need to do is, there isn't a set way you can prepare for this, but there is one framework that you use, which I used in some of the interviews that I've given, which is the STARR framework. So STARR. So the STARR framework stands for S is situation. So first of all, you need to explain the situation to the interviewer. They have no idea what you've experienced. So you need to lay out all the foundational context for them to understand something. So that's the S. Then you have the T. The T is the task. What were you supposed to do? What's the task? What's the work that's needed to be done in whatever you're describing? So ST. And then you have the A. The A is the action, what you did. So here you can talk about what things you did, what things you might have done, and what solutions that you had, what stuff that you could have done, but this is the action that you took. So this is the part where you tell this. So STA. And then you have the R in STARR. So R stands for result or reflection. So the two R's stand for result or reflection. So here you just reflect on what you did, what the situation was. So for example, you're describing a previous, say, workplace conflict, like how you resolved the conflict. So first you give the context on what the situation was, what the conflict was. Then you give the task. It's like, okay, so here I had the duty to inform my manager of this. So this is just an example, for example. And then the A would be action. Okay, so here's what I did. I could have talked to this person to resolve this. I could have talked to this person to resolve this, and so on. And then the last part is the reflection. So just make sure to keep your answers super structured. So always begin with the prerequisite information and then slowly get into what you've done and what you could have done, and then reflect and so on. So this is the behavioral part. So one thing you can do is just look up resources online on what type of behavioral questions are typically asked in software engineering interviews. That's one way you can prepare for it. There isn't like any way. Just practice speaking out loud. Just practice speaking with people, and then just make sure that people who have no clue what you've experienced, you can convey an experience perfectly to them so they can be on board with whatever you're talking about. Now, the second part of software engineering interviews is the technical bit. This is probably the most challenging. I would say even more challenging than the actual job is to getting past this technical bit. Because most of the stuff that's asked in technical interviews, I mean, it's a meme generally in the software engineering community that most of the stuff asked in interviews is not really, you never use it in a job, but still, this is a super crucial bit, probably the most important bit that you need to clear in your whole job journey, which is the technical bit. Now, the way you prepare for technical bit is in three parts. So these are some of my 3 tips. Number 1 is do a lot of questions online. You cannot be good at technical interviews, like doing problems without actually solving problems. So make leetcode your best friend. Just do a lot of problems on leetcode. Start with the easy ones, do the hard ones, do the medium ones, and then maybe 1 or 2 hard. So that will give you a good foundation on what type of questions to expect. The second thing you need to do is watch mock interviews online, or even do mock interviews with your friends. There's plenty of websites online where you can schedule mock interviews with someone, maybe with a friend, or just watch it on YouTube. That's something that I did. Maybe like during lunchtime when you're eating, instead of watching something else, just watch someone else give an interview. That will give you an idea of how people talk, what type of pressure they go through in an interview, like what type of situation it is when you're in an interview setting. And then the third bit is practice speaking out loud. So whenever you're doing questions on your own, whenever you're solving leetcode questions, just make sure you speak out loud, because the interviewer, it's better to speak everything that's coming into your mind than to not. Because the interviewer is looking for how you think. Like, you may not necessarily get the solution to a problem, but they still want to know how you think, like what you're thinking about as you solve that problem. So make sure to speak out loud. So whenever you're doing a technical interview, just speak as much as possible. Whatever's in your mind, just speak it out loud. And then I guess an extra bonus tip would be to apply for as many, say you want to work in like a FANG company, a big tech company. Don't limit yourself to FANG, apply to other small companies as well. Go through those interviews, secure those interviews. Even if you don't accept their offers, you'll get the experience on how to give interviews. You'll be comfortable in that situation. And then just practice these points over and over again. So speaking out loud. With the behavioral question, just practice the STARR method of keeping your answers concise as well as structured. And yeah, that's about it. So those are some of my tips on how you can prepare for your technical interviews and behavioral interviews. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. And also, any videos you'd like me to make in the future, well, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.